How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to Game 2 of Noble Knights vs. Windups. Hopefully this one's going to be a bit more informative for you guys on how the deck plays, as this one's actually 12 minutes as opposed to the 5-minute massacre that was the other video. So hopefully this one's going to be a little better. So I'm going to open up with Thunder King Ryo and set one back row. I'm holding the rabbit, but I didn't feel that the rabbit was going to be the best play opening turn. And as you're going to see, that because of that bottomless, I am going to be quite paranoid about using the rabbit now, so I draw into Judgment on that turn. And looking at his back row, I'm really fearing the bottomless, and I don't want to commit the rabbit again. I'm fearing things like Torrential as well that could really put me off balance. So I'm going to end up setting the Judgment and setting the other spell trap that I had in hand. I cannot remember what it was for the life of me. I'm going to pass turn to my opponent because I want to keep the Thunder King on board, because the Thunder King is going to hurt his potential Xyz plays, and it's going to hurt his factory. So I feel that the Thunder King is going to be really useful, and I don't want to just run into a D-Prison. So he's just going to set an extra back row and pass. He's obviously not got the best hand. So I'm going to go ahead and commit with that rabbit because I have the Judgment if I'm going to need it. So he OKs the rabbit, and at this point I then understand that he probably doesn't have warning. So if he does have bottomless, I'm alright to Judgment it and then go into my bigger play. On the other flip side of that read, he could just be not warninging because he knows he can bottomless. So he's going to attempt a bottomless, and I'm going to respond with the Judgment, of course, because I want this play to go off, because I can go into Artorigus and kill his 2 back row. So I'm going to Judgment that, and hope like hell that he doesn't have another bottomless or a warning to stop my Artorigus play. So I'm going to Xyz the 2 normal Artorigus for Artorigus, King of the Noble Knights, and then I'm going to equip it with the following. Well, my opponent's going to have to read it first, because of course the card wasn't released when this was recorded, so kinda needs to read things. So the Artorigus summon resolves, and I activate Caliburn and equip it to Artorigus. I'm then going to use the effect of Caliburn to boost my life by 500 points, because that's always quite nice. It saved my life quite a few times. I'm then going to equip an Alpha Dutir from my hand as well, to give him the ability to pop 2 cards, because he's now equipped with 2 Noble Arms. So I'm going to activate his effect to destroy X amount of back row, and my opponent's going to respond with Fiendish Chain. Now, at the moment, I really don't want that Fiendish Chain to go off, because I really need this effect to resolve. I need that back row off the board, and I need to get some attacks in. So I consider my options, look at my hand, and I'm going to chain Forbidden Lance to my Artorigus. Because, of course, then, because the Artorigus targets in the end at the chain resolution, because it doesn't have a defined number of destructions, it's still going to be able to target the Fiendish Chain and kill it outright. So while it's lanced, its effect will resolve. I'll kill his back row and his Fiendish Chain. I almost considered not doing it, but for some reason, just to kind of save me from Gauze, and then I realised most Windup players don't play Gauze. So I'm going to swing for 1200 because, of course, the Artorigus was lanced, and then swing him for 1900 with the Thunder King. If he has Gauze, oh well, I have to start pushing for damage. So I check my grave and then pass turn to my opponent. So the Artorigus is sitting pretty on 25, and I have a Thunder King to protect me from Xyz plays, so I'm in a fairly good position here with this board. But of course my opponent can just advantage his way out of it. As you can see there's some factories sitting pretty in his hand, so we're not out of the woods yet. So the first play he's going to try and make is he's going to try and bait my Thunder King off the board by revealing a shark, well, summoning a shark and then revealing a second one, special summoning it, and making them both level 5. He's then going to attempt to Xyz for Adrius, Keeper of Armageddon. Of course, I'm then going to Thunder King that once we eventually get to that stage, because I'm not going to allow him to get that summon off. My Thunder King is then, of course, off the board, and I'm free to be shenanigan now. So my opponent is then going to go ahead, and if he's going to do it, I'm not sure. Pass turn back to me, my mistake. So he's going to boost my life by 500 because I'm going to use the effect of Caliburn. I'm going to swing for 2-5 direct. And then because I believe my hand is quite dead, I am going to have to set another card if I have it. I'm not sure. Do I set another card? I hate being forgetful when I'm doing these videos. Okay, I'm just going to pass turn back to my opponent. My opponent's going to open his turn up with Rabbit, followed by 2 factories, which is absolutely brutal. So he's then going to banish the Rabbit and get 2 searches, which is crazy. So I believe he's going to search out a shark and a rat. That's what I'd search here if I didn't have the shark already in hand. But I could be mistaken. My opponent's just quickly asking what Alpha Dutir does, just to make sure he's not playing into anything stupid. So, what is he going to search, people? That is the question. I wish I'd shortened this video before I started recording. Saved me a lot of time sitting here and looking dumb. So he's going to search the rat. That's one of the cards I called. So, I guess I'm good. What is the second one going to be, though? He's going to search the rat and the shark. Oh, he's good. Oh, he's good. Yeah, making reads from a game I was in. So I'm going to cut his deck, put it back. And he's going to attempt to reborn the shark that I had just killed. Well, just killed with the Thunder King the turn before. So that's not nice. He's had reborn twice. So he's then going to go 2 shark. And in my foolishness, I then respond with Torrential, killing my own Artorigus and wiping my board. Of course, forgetting that he then did still have a rat in hand. But he... Well, of course, he'd normal summon. What am I thinking of? It was the correct play. Present Jamie is more stupid than past Jamie. Past Jamie was good at this game. Right now, I'm really bad at this. So I'm going to draw for my turn, summon Birdman and swing for 14 to at least put my opponent to a K. My hand is quite dead. I don't really have any power plays, so I felt that if I was able to put my opponent to a K and I drew anything that would give me a play, I'd be able to play out of this. So he's going to, of course, bring back the rabbit. And in this situation, it's just dire. If he hadn't have had that reborn, I would have been able to win the game the next turn. With the Artorigus killing his factories and swinging in for just direct game. But sadly, that is Yu-Gi-Oh! So he's going to search his deck with his double factories, I believe. Yep. And this is, of course, going to signal the end of our happy fun times. But regardless, let's talk about the Birdman for a minute while he's doing the search. The Genex Allied Birdman, I'm not sure if I actually got it in a video, but actually proved to be really useful over the course of testing. He's going to search a rabbit and a magician. The Genex Allied Birdman gave me access to the Noble Arms without having to main deck a Hidden Arsenal or Hidden Armory, I can't remember the name of the card, by giving me access to good old-fashioned Power Tool Dragon. And Power Tool Dragon actually proved to be really useful in the deck, because 2-5 is actually a really big number. Unless you're playing against Mermails, 2-5 is actually a really big defense. So you can just play the guy in defense and search out your Noble Arms, and if you've got a Medraw in hand or a Rota, you're then set next turn to go into our just crazy plays if they remove the Power Tool, of course, because you can't use Medraw when you've got another guy on board. So he's going to Rabbit, bounce the rat, and exceeds these 2 for, I believe, good old Leviathan Dragon, which is a really big card for me. 2-5 is really hard to beat over with this deck if you don't have an Excalibur play. So he's then going to check his extra deck and choose a target. But I really like the Birdman play. I've got 2 in the deck now, and I really do like Power Tool Dragon in this deck. But I'm just trying to find ramblings to fill up the space between the video. So he's going to go into Leviathan Dragon, detach, and a Birdman for 1100 damage. And as you can see, my hand is just 2 Caliburns, which is absolutely tragic. So this is the sad part where it starts to clog. I'm going to draw for my turn and draw into Medraw, which is actually an amazing draw. But sadly, I do believe my opponent will have an out to it. So I'm going to summon the Medraw. Allow my opponent to read it, because of course, again, it was a card that was just recently released. So it does need to be read. But I was really happy to top deck that, because it did give me another hope. And if this Medraw can resolve, it will win me the game. So I'm going to equip my Medraw with a Caliburn, boost my life by 500 points, and then attempt to use Medraw's effect. Of course, my opponent is going to double check Caliburn. Double check all of its effects, just to make sure I'm doing everything by the book. Of course, he's then going to think things through, because he, of course, doesn't really know what I have access to. I mean, this is a deck you can't really make reads on when you've never actually seen it play. So I'm going to activate the effect of the Medraw. Search my deck for, I believe, a copy of Black Launzelin, because Launzelin is going to be probably the best choice at this point in time, because I do want to make a big play. No, he's going to Torrential, and I didn't get Launzelin. I'm not sure why I didn't get Launzelin. So he's going to respond with Torrential, and that was pretty demoralizing for me. It left me with a Caliburn in hand, which was not where I wanted to be, with a rat coming back to the board next turn. So again, another push that would have been game if it had gone through. I believe I was actually going to go for Excalibur on that play. But he's going to, of course, bring back his rat, revive the rabbit, and, of course, probably get to his searches. Yep. He's going to do his double search. So, this is the problem. I can't keep up with this advantage system. Now that he's got 2 rats and a normal summon, it's just going to put me in such an awful position that scooping right now would not have been out of the question. but of course I did play on so that you guys can actually see wind-up plays too, because not everyone's going to be watching this video for Noble Knights, even though I expect most of you probably will. At this point, I then had to correct him. I should probably point out that any misplays the wind-up player makes, he apologizes for in advance. This was literally the first time he played the deck, because he just literally bought it in for like absolutely nothing because someone was paranoid about the ban list, and hey, you may as well get some play in with it when you can buy it in for about 10 quid, which I think he did. So I'm gonna correct him and put his rabbit back to defense mode because I'm not taking free attacks off of the rabbit play. He's going to review his extra deck, reviewing his options because, of course, his Leviathan Dragon is gone, so his biggest source of muscle is now gone from the game, which is quite good for me because 2-5, as I said before, is a big number for this deck. I should probably point out that for potential Noble Knight players, especially Rabbit Nobles, the deck has exactly the same weaknesses as Rabbit, basically. It can control quite well, but it has the same weaknesses as Rabbit in the fact that big stuff really does make it cry. So he's going to summon a Magician, bounce the Rat, and then activate the Magician's effect with his rabbit. So of course this is horrible because I'm in a position where I have 1 card in hand. He has 4 in hand, I believe, 2 factories, so he's gaining 2 per turn, and 3 cards on board for a free Xyz play. So this is a massacre here. I do not recommend playing Noble Knights competitively currently, especially if you don't have a side deck built. But this is going to draw us towards the end of this game as well, because of course with Caliburn in hand I really cannot play out of this. So he's going to Xyz for Utopia, which is even worse for me. Again, 2-5 and I can't attack over it. So I'm going to take the 2-5 direct. He's going to eventually pass turn back to me. I'm going to review my top card and realise that it is going to be my opponent's game, because I'm going to set 2 for a bluff, which are a Caliburn and a Lance, but ultimately I never had this game past that Torrential. But I'll see you guys for Game 3, which we did play just for funs, so I'll see you guys for that, and I hope you've enjoyed. Bye.